I'm Congressman Steny Hoyer from Maryland, and you're watching Rabbi Doug.
We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug on your TV tonight.
But Daddy, I want to watch Monday Night Football.
Forget about Monday Night Football. There's no other that we're going to watch on Monday but Rabbi Doug.
Yeah, Rabbi Doug on TV tonight. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. Oh, everybody talk about Doug.
Shalom and welcome to Taped with Rabbi Doug. We are here for part 2 at AIPAC 18 here at the Washington Convention Center in Washington, D.C. A number of politicians, famous people, and dignitaries here with us on this episode. So don't miss this second episode from Washington, D.C. on AIPAC 18 here on Taped with Rabbi Doug.
Natan Sharansky at AIPAC.
It's funny, what you're saying does strike a chord for me, because even though I didn't experience a struggle, like I said, I did experience something almost as intense, Shabbat meals at our table, where we disagreed about everything. We disagreed about who created whom. Did God create men or did men create God? We disagreed about politics. And in the background, my beloved Baba Ida, your mother, said and used all the same energy and fire with which she stood up to the Soviet authority for years and years, to stand up to you and say, why are you sending the girls to these religious schools? Why are they wearing these terribly long skirts? I'll never meet husbands this way. And I remember that the amazing thing, looking back as an adult, was not that we loved each other. That goes without saying. It was that we never tried to harmonize by removing topics off the table. We argued as we loved, and we loved as we argued, and we were united in the same conversation, even though we were never united in agreement within it. So I think that's what you're saying, right? That you were united in one conversation?
No, I think I'm saying something bigger. It's not enough to have one conversation. But if you look in retrospect on all these organizations who are competing, and all these Jewish activists who had very strong opinions, each of them had a place. Each of them played a very important role. In fact, without the students, the activists, the establishment will be silent. But without establishment mobilizing this huge financial and political support, our struggle will not be effective. So of course, those dissidents in the Soviet Union who believed that our struggle have to be connected to human rights were broadening the number of our allies. Those who insisted that our struggle is about Zionism made sure that the first choice will be Israel. Those who were struggling for Jewish education, they were responsible for this unique network of Ulipans, the underground. So everybody had a place, everybody had a role. And I'm sure if in 15 years from now, we'll look on our today's debates, we'll find out that many of our disagreements have a sense. It's good. But you know, I'm talking all the time about what, from our point of view, our struggle means for you. You tell what it means for you, for your generation, how all these Jewish struggles help you to take part in this conversation.
I think the time I really felt that they do was 3 years ago, when my son was 5, and the 9th Intifada was raging in Jerusalem. And I was scared. I was scared to take him to the kindergarten. I was scared to walk to the park. And I knew I had to prepare him. So I sat him down and I said, look, we live in Israel, and there are people who don't want us here. They hate us. They want to scare us away by hurting us. And our country will protect us, our army will protect us, but something might still happen, and we need to be prepared. So here's your job. My job will be to try and stop the person trying to hurt you. Your job will be to run away. Grab your sister, yell, and run away. And we even practiced. They took a big fluffy teddy bear that was the terrorist, and I fought it, and my son ran away. I have no idea what the neighbors thought was going on. And I thought, oh God, are you crazy? Why are you telling these terrible things to this little kid? But I also knew that I had to, because the realities of Jewish life will hit him eventually. He needs to be prepared. And that made me think about you. And the morning when you woke me up, and you said a terrible thing happened. A Jew killed the Prime Minister. And the gravity in your voice and in your face stayed with me and shaped me all these years. And I thought of a very different morning when your father woke you up and said a wonderful thing happened. And he closed all the shutters and lowered his voice and said, Stalin died. And Stalin wanted to kill us all. So as a Jew, you must know that and rejoice. But when you go to kindergarten, don't let anyone see it. And I thought of all these generations of Jewish parents preparing their kids for the reality of life at a very young age and passing on our values, our heritage to the next generation. And even though I live in Israel and in prosperity and freedom, the spirit of all these struggles gives me strength to continue doing the same.
Thank you. You are on something very important. What you just now said, that look, the last 3-4 generations of our family lived through most exciting times in our history. Tragedy of Holocaust, and with the creation of the State of Israel, and then gathering of exiles, and then making Israel the center of Jewish life, and fighting on left and right against those who want to demonize us. And then in these times, 3 generations of our family say to their 5-year-old children, there is an evil, you have to know to recognize it, and you have to resist it. Maybe that is the thread which connects all our generations.
Maybe. I'm going to see what my kids, what your kids tell theirs. We'll find out. Thank you.
Back here at AIPAC on Taped with Rabbi Doug, and I am here with Ofra Konikoff, and she is from Ezer Mitzion and part of the Shared Life Registry for Saving Lives Globally. Tell me a little bit about, tell our viewers a little bit about what the organization does and whose lives are we saving and what can be done to help save lives. Speak real well.
Okay, so since we, the Jewish people along the generations, kept marrying each other, we have created our own genetic food. Not only us, every ethnic group that traditionally is getting married among themselves, eventually they create their own unique genetic food. That created the situation when I am, for instance, as a coordinator, when I'm looking for a match in the World Organization for my Jewish patients in Israel and around the world, the chances are very low. The solution was to establish a registry where the donors will have the same DNA as the recipient.
To prevent genetic diseases being passed down.
To make the transplant successful, there has to be compatibility. No compatibility.
So what diseases are we trying to cure?
We are dealing, like stem cell transplants, we are dealing with almost 100 diseases of blood cancers and immune deficiencies diseases. And as I said, it depends on the compatibility.
So we're looking mainly for blood marrow and stem cell transplants?
Absolutely. Yes.
And so by doing a swab, someone could be matched up with someone else and find that their blood marrow transplant or their stem cell transplant could be compatible?
No. Yes.
How does it work?
By doing the swab, you give us an opportunity to find your DNA. If you identify your DNA, and the result is being put in our data. Daily, we get requests to look for a match for certain patients. We search in our data. Once you are found as a match to one of the patients, then we get proceed into the process of actual donation. Okay? But we have to understand it very clearly. We need to have, so far it's okay. We are the largest Jewish stem cells donor organization in the world. But it's not big enough yet to save all the Jews of the world. So what we are doing now is doing our best to increase the numbers of potential donors.
Which is why you're here at AIPAC tonight.
Absolutely. And this, not only that, this is all the Jews that participate in this convention, they have the same interest. We share the same interest. Having a big governmental registry that acts like a savior to each and every one.
Beautiful. Well, I wish you much success. Everybody who is sick right now and looking for those transplants should have a refuah shlema and be well. And this is Ezer Mitzion, Shared Life, the swabbing to try and find bone marrow and stem cell matches, and should save a lot of lives.
Thank you so much.
Stay with us here on Tape with Rabbi Doug. Israeli Labor Party leader Avi Gabbay at AIPAC 18.
Good evening. Howard, I salute your leadership of AIPAC. Thank you. Lillian, thank you for your many years of service to the U.S.-Israel relationship. I'm proud to be part of the Zionist dream, serving my country as a combat intelligence officer in Lebanon, as an economist in the Ministry of Finance, and with hard work and some luck, by age 40, becoming the CEO of the very company my father was never promoted at for 25 years. Members of AIPAC, I join you today as the head of Israel's Labor Party and its candidate for Prime Minister. Our main agenda addresses security, peace, and an economy that serves all citizens. Regarding security, let me be clear. We will never compromise on the security of our country. We must have aggressive security policy. We will not allow any regime that calls for the destruction of our country the ability to act on its word. We will not allow Iran to have nuclear capabilities. We will not allow Hezbollah to attack the people of northern Israel, just as we will not allow Hamas to harm the people of southern Israel. Even with peace, Israel must forever have the most powerful military in the region, in the air, in the sea, on land and online. And the core foundation of our security is the alliance with you, the United States of America. This is, of course, led by our shared values. It is led by a compassion and concern for Israel in every White House since 1948. Members of AIPAC, the best friends of Israel are the people in this room here today. I admire your commitment to Israel. I admire your strong belief in the Zionist dream, and I admire your love for your own country, America. On behalf of all Israelis, including the loud and vocal opposition that I lead, thank you for your support. Keep believing in the miracle that we call Israel, and know that I will keep fighting for the Israel we all love. A secure state, a Jewish state, a democratic state, a unified state, a peace-seeking state, where every child has an equal opportunity. Thank you, AIPAC. Thank you very much.
We're back here on Take Rabbi Doug. I'm here with Assaf Grumberg. He's the Associate Midwest Director of Stand With Us, and we're here at AIPAC in Washington, D.C. today. Stand With Us always has a strong following here at AIPAC, a strong association with the pro-Israel movement and with AIPAC as well, and a big reception we have here every year. How many people do you expect at your reception?
Probably expecting about 600-700 people.
600-700 people. Very nice. And what's the message that Stand With Us is sending out to the community in comparison or in association with all the other pro-Israel movement organizations?
Well, you know, Stand With Us is an educational organization. We do educational work on college campuses, high schools, middle schools now as well, and in the community. It's important for us to bring a fact-based information to people that we work with, and we work very well with all other organizations, bringing that type of content that they need in order to do their own programs.
Very nice. I want to congratulate you and the staff that you work with on the beautiful program in Chicago this year, in Deerfield, with all those people that came. It was really a very special event, and probably the largest and most special event. Rabbi Barry Axler. When am I going to be on? Rabbi Barry Axler. Come join me, Barry. How are you? So good to see you.
Yeah, but I love you anyway. I'll see you tonight.
So here at AIPAC, did you bring delegates here with you, or are you hosting this for your supporters who are here at AIPAC?
So our event tonight is going to have supporters from all over the country, and actually from the UK and Israel as well. They're going to come. We have staff from all over the world coming to AIPAC tonight for this weekend. But I think our biggest pride and joy is our students, our high school and campus college students, our Emerson Fellows, who are going to be attending AIPAC. Very strong Stand With Us delegation coming in tonight. A lot of students are here with us, and we're so proud of seeing them so active.
It is so amazing to see so many students. Well, I want to thank you so much. I'm very blessed to your wife and children.
Thank you.
And it's great to see you.
Always happy to be on.
My good friend Assaf Grumberg from Chicago. Stay with us here on Taped with Rabbi Doug.
U.S. Ambassador to Israel, David Friedman.
Naked self-interest is sometimes more than enough to justify a foreign policy. But our relationship with Israel is deeper and far more profound. It goes all the way back to the pilgrim, John Winthrop, who stood on the deck of his ship about to enter Massachusetts Bay, and he charged his flock with the wish that the God of Israel would be with them. Since that date in the 17th century, many American thought leaders saw themselves as building the new Israel, which explains in part why so many American villages bear the name of biblical communities from the Holy Land. More than 100 years before the State of Israel was born, the United States opened up a consulate in the city of Jerusalem. And in 1948, President Harry Truman caused America to be the first nation to recognize the rebirth of this ancient civilization. Now, in the United States, we establish no religion. That is a core constitutional principle ingrained in our First Amendment and the bedrock of our democracy. And yet, we are most certainly a nation under God, and virtually every government edifice proclaims, "In God we trust." Our support for Israel derives from our shared values, values instilled in us from ancient texts of freedom, democracy, independence, and the sanctity of life. And of course, from the covenant that God made to Abraham, the father of all three great monotheistic religions, that he will bless those who bless Israel. To millions of people in our great country, as we sit and ponder the wonders most magical transformations we have made over the 242 years of our history as one indivisible nation under God. We can't help but be convinced that America's steadfast support for Israel has had a profound effect on our good fortune. I am convinced that America is at its best when it supports Israel. So as I stand before you today, the evidence demonstrates now more than ever that support for Israel is a quintessential American value. I know my views are shared by the two members of the administration who preceded me at this conference last night, our amazing Vice President Mike Pence, and our incredible UN Ambassador. But as great as they are, and they are indeed great, and I thank you with all my heart for the kindness you showed them last night. As great as they are, we all take our directions from the greatest friend that Israel has ever had in the White House, President Trump. My friends, we owe him a tremendous debt of gratitude. It is the highest honor and privilege of my life to serve as the United States Ambassador to Israel. When I'm referred to as ambassador, they use a capital A. But all of you are ambassadors as well, perhaps just with a lowercase a, if you will. As ambassadors, all of you share with me the responsibility for making the case for Israel, as many of you will today on Capitol Hill, and as you do in your homes, your communities, and on college campuses every day of the week, for which I am eternally grateful. When, as I know all of you will, proclaim yourselves to be pro-Israel, please understand that those 1.5 simple words, without suffix and without apology, you are proclaiming yourselves pro-democracy, pro-religious freedom, and perhaps most importantly, pro-American. Later today, I'm heading back to Israel. We have work to do. We have an embassy to open in Jerusalem this May. We're working hard to get that done. Until we meet again, and I hope we meet again in Israel, please join with me in continuing to strengthen the unbreakable bond. I know that phrase is used a lot, but it's not right. It really is an unbreakable bond between Israel and the United States. I'd like to conclude with the last sentence of the 29th Psalm, written by King David some 3,000 years ago. Hashem oz li'amo yitem, Hashem yivarech et amo b'shalom. May God give strength unto his people. May God bless his people with peace. My father, of blessed memory, a pulpit rabbi for some 50 years, ended every one of his Shabbat morning services with this passage. I often wondered what King David meant. If he was asking for peace, why did he first have to ask for strength? My friends, in this day and age, we all know the answer. We all know what King David, the great warrior poet, meant by his request. We will have peace, but first, we must be strong. May God bless you. May God bless Israel. God bless.
Well, that's it for part 2 here on Taped with Rabbi Doug. Want to thank all of my guests. Want to thank all of you for being with us. Remember, you can check our website, www.tvrabbi.com, where you can also see former shows on the web. If you want to email us, info@tvrabbi.com is the email address. You won't want to miss part 3, so be sure to be here next time, right here on Taped with Rabbi Doug in Washington, D.C. Shalom, everyone. This is Mezumenet at AIPAC from the University of Maryland on Taped with Rabbi Doug.
And I'm talking about Rabbi Doug. Talking about Rabbi Doug. Talking about Rabbi Doug on your TV show. Well, he's the rabbi for me. Anytime you need. You're gonna get married or you're gonna die. Gonna see Rabbi Doug. Gonna see Rabbi Doug. Gonna see Rabbi Doug. Gonna see Rabbi Doug on the TV tonight.
This has been a Taped with Rabbi Doug production.